One of the single most important developments of the digital age has been the introduction of cameras to smartphones. Every year they get better and better, and every year they get closer to matching the look of traditional high-end cameras. And when it comes to iPhones, Apple has been the pioneer in this space, merging physical components and advanced software to produce amazing clarity, color, and visual effects, both for photos and video. So if you're in the market for the best bang for your buck video camera, you shouldn't be, because it's already in your pocket. That is, if you know the best iPhone camera settings. iPhones are packed with features and capabilities that, just a few years back, we could only dream of having in such a small form factor. With HDR video, 4K recording, multiple lenses, and impressive processing features, there's little reason to grab for your high-end camera when you could use your iPhone for professional video. But with all those features, you may be lost on how to actually use them to make great video. So let's open up the camera app and run through some of the best iPhone camera settings for video. Every iPhone since 2015's iPhone 6s has been able to record 4K video, and 4K 60fps video was introduced with the iPhone 8 and X. To enable 4K shooting, open the camera app, switch the camera mode to video, and look to the corner of your screen. If you're shooting in 1080p, you'll see HD, as well as a 30 or 60, which is the frame rate you're shooting in. Tap HD to switch to 4K. But I've got a secret. 4K is not the end-all be-all. Instead, think of it as a tool. 4K doesn't just automatically make your video look better, and most of the time your viewers are going to be watching in 720p or 1080p due to screen resolution and streaming bandwidth. So, instead of recording everything in 4K, save yourself the storage space and only use it if you know you'll want to zoom in when editing later and create alternate camera angles out of one shot. Next, frame rate, which can drastically affect the look of your video. It can quickly be changed in the camera app by tapping the number displayed next to the resolution you're shooting in, the options being 30 and 60 in HD, and the addition of 24 in 4K. 24 is the film industry standard and is used in most shows and movies you watch, but viewers today are most used to 30 frames a second. It creates a natural motion blur, and is used in most TV, online, and social media video content. Exposure and color temperature. Simply put, exposure is how bright or dark your video is, and setting the correct color temperature to the light source in your video means the difference between your scene looking natural or looking too orange or blue. You actually can't control color temperature from the native iPhone camera app, and the most accuracy you can get for exposure is tapping areas around your screen and hoping the iPhone processing does the rest. But if your camera moves or your lighting conditions keep changing, so will the look of your video. The better way to go about controlling exposure and color temperature is leaving the guesswork behind and downloading an app like Switcher Studio, which lets you set color temperature and tint manually. You can also get a quick color temperature check based on your lighting conditions, and you can lock the settings so the color of your image won't change randomly. Now let's talk the lenses on iPhone cameras themselves. These days, most iPhones have at least 2 cameras, with 3 cameras on the Pro models. The wide 1x and ultra-wide 0.5x come standard, and the Pro models get an extra 3x or 2x telephoto camera. These have opened the world of iPhone videography and shrunken the camera bag of serious video professionals. The 1x camera is the classic focal length you know and love on iPhones. It's wide but not too wide, doesn't unnaturally warp faces or scenes, and it's great for just about every kind of shooting. The 0.5x ultra-wide camera is really wide. Too wide for some subjects, like close-ups of people, because it warps and stretches the image. But it's great for shooting low angles of buildings and grand interiors. The 3x or 2x, depending on your iPhone model, goes in the opposite direction for a more zoomed-in image. It's great for close-ups of people or objects because that compressed focal length adds depth and focus to the subject at hand. The only trouble with all these great cameras is that there's no way to shoot true multicam for iPhone videography in the native camera app. Again, Switcher Studio saves the day with multicam software for iOS devices, letting you connect multiple camera angles to a video production and switch between them seamlessly. You can connect up to 9 devices to Switcher Studio, which means you have a new use for those older iPhone models you may have laying around still, but aren't using. You can have a main camera angle, a zoomed in shot, an overhead angle, a side shot, as well as any other camera angles you can think of, and still switch between the different cameras on those devices. Better yet, if you use Switcher Studio's director mode, each device will independently record its angle, and you can drop them in an editor like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut to stitch together however you want. In fact, Switcher Studio helps you control lots of other settings, including everything we've already mentioned. There's precise manual controls for exposure parameters like ISO and shutter speed, and you can set your resolution and frame rate all the way up to 4K 60. You can even add grid lines while you record to help with your shot composition. With Switcher Studio, you can leave the guesswork behind and create the exact image you want, and as bare bones or complex of a production as you need. Believe it or not, your secret weapon is your iPhone for professional video. There are high-end video specs packed in your pocket right now, and you'll be amazed at the professional video you can get. But your iPhone's native camera app will only take you so far. Even a beginner videographer will quickly outgrow automatic settings like focus, exposure, and white balance, and that's where Switcher Studio comes in. When you download the Switcher Studio multi-camera software for iOS devices, you unlock your iPhone's professional video capabilities. Not only do you get manual controls and high-quality recording in the app, but also custom graphics like lower thirds and pre-made animations, so you can produce your entire video within minutes. Switcher Studio is a flexible experience that's simple to learn, but grows with you as your video production skills advance. Download Switcher Studio today on the App Store and give it a spin with a 2-week free trial. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on video and be sure to follow us on social. Thanks for watching.